Intercity Nalkowska. From Wrocław to Białystok, a train scheduled to connect diagonally across Poland. I joined the ride from Opole to Warsaw in second class. Come along to see what PKP Intercity has to offer on this service. The trip today is on two important rail lines in Poland. First, we travel from Opole to Częstochowa on line number 61, the so-called Proteza Koniec Polska, created as a fix to provide the fastest timings for trains between Warsaw and Wrocław. Then in Częstochowa, the train switches to line number 1, known as Wiedenka, which will take all the way to Warsaw. My day started on a short ride to Opole Główne on one of Polregio's EN57 EMUs, this one a slightly refurbished version of the venerable local service train. We arrived at Opole Główne with plenty of time to connect to my train to Warsaw. This gave me an opportunity to take a look at one of the rebuilt ED74 sets on a service from Wrocław to Lublin. The ED74, colloquially known as a Dyta, was a batch of 20 EMUs built some time ago for the regional service between Łódź and Warsaw, about 130 kilometers or 80 miles apart. This was never a successful application and the trains languished for years. Recently, PKP Intercity ordered a rebuild and upgrade of 14 units, which are now providing service on cross-country routes in southern Poland. I hope to do a trip report on this train in the future. And here comes my train, Intercity 61104 Nalkowska. I chose a seat in an open saloon car, an aisle seat at a table. The train featured compartment cars as well in second class, plus compartments only in first class, as you can see here. There are a few bicycle carriage areas, but no restaurant car, which was quite a surprise on such a long-distance service, over 7.5-hour journey. As has been my experience during the summer of 2023, a lot of people are opting for train travel. Consequently, the trains are running very well loaded. This was the case on almost all trips that we've taken, whether it be in Switzerland, France, Germany or Poland. And this train was no exception. While it wasn't standing room only, as I experienced in other cases, I can't imagine more than a few dozen available seats on the entire 7-car train. We departed Opole on time and the train kept up with its schedule for pretty much the entire journey, arriving just a few minutes late at the Warsaw Central station. This was pretty good, as I heard nightmare stories about PKP Intercity trains operating notoriously late recently. This part of Poland is dominated by gently rolling rural landscapes, and with this train not traveling very fast, it was very easy and pleasant to watch the country roll by. The pretty passing scenery continued unabated between the station stops. This train didn't break any speed records, typically with a maximum speed of 120 kilometers per hour, but still the trip went by quickly, more so than I expected. Alright, so here's my seat in a group of 4 around a table. There is a decent amount of personal space around these tables, including legroom. The table has these hinged extensions which, when all are extended, provides a large surface for laptops, other electronics or board games if that's your interest. There's a bit of seat recline as well. With all seats taken, it was a challenge to film a review, so this is a very basic look at the squad seat. For the first part of the journey, a double airline-style seat was unoccupied nearby, and so I moved there temporarily to give you a more detailed look at the seating accommodation. A coat hook and a large, sturdy table are at every face-to-back seat. Plenty of space, a footrest, and a net holder for personal items are featured. There are power sockets available, 1 per passenger, located below the double seats. There is Wi-Fi on board, although I could not connect my phone for some reason. The seats are very comfortable with plenty of padding and a large winged headrest. The folding armrests are a nice feature at every seat. And finally, there is a fairly substantial trash bin, 1 for 2 seats. Above, there are movable coat hooks, reading lights, and overhead luggage storage for small suitcases and bags. Overall, the ambiance of this railcar is very good. It features a bright interior, the seats are comfortable and have modern conveniences such as power sockets. And the trip was nicely quiet. Of course, there was travel noise, but that seemed to be kept to a minimum, and the morning departure ensured that a lot of my fellow passengers were catching up on their sleep. We're arriving at our first stop of the day in Lubliniec. Afterwards, I decided to take a short walk around. On both ends of the open saloon car, there are large luggage stacks and a couple of passenger information displays. At about the halfway point of the journey, we stopped at Piotrków Trybunalski, a city of just over 70,000 inhabitants in central Poland. The city was founded in the Middle Ages and was the site of the first parliament sitting in the 15th century. One of the oldest Polish Jewish communities was found here, which was completely wiped out during the Holocaust of the Second World War. Piotrków looks like a worthwhile city to visit, which I'll plan for a stopover next time. Now let's take a look at a restroom in my car. Everything was clean and functional. The big button controls are easy to see and activate. My only complaint was that the air dryer, activated by a sensor, was rather weak. It took a moment to activate and then much longer to dry hands. There's also a spot for paper towels, but these were not provided. Our motive power today is the EU07 series locomotive, a workhorse of the PKP Intercity fleet. This locomotive can trace its roots all the way to Great Britain, where the original design started life as British Rail Class 83 electric in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The Polish derivative underwent many modernizations over the many years and models in production, and the fact that it continues to provide reliable service is a testament to its design and adaptations. I decided to take a walk through the consist to see what other equipment made up the train. My seat was in a car that has received a recent, modern refurbishment, as did most of the other cars in this train. PKP is continuously refurbishing its fleet of locomotive-hauled rail cars and purchasing new designs, but it's doing this in relatively small batches of less than 100 cars, so there is a lot of equipment variety on many of their trains. Bicycle storage is provided and must be reserved. And like so many other YouTubers have pointed out, this is the best view in the house, out the last car on a locomotive-hauled train. As we're nearing the end of this pleasant journey, let me summarize. I paid just less than 50 Polish zloty for the ticket, including a reservation. This is an outstanding value for a 323-kilometer trip in a modern train with excellent facilities and a very comfortable ride. The only thing missing was a restaurant car, but at least a minibar service was provided for a portion of the journey, and I purchased a much-needed cup of coffee. Even though it didn't feel like it, this trip went by quite fast. Before long, we stopped at the massive construction site that is Warszawa Zachodnia, or Warsaw West station, and within 5 more minutes arrived at Warsaw Central, the end point of the journey today. Let's take a final look at our train departing for Białystok in the northeast of Poland, not quite a 3-hour journey from Warsaw. Warszawa Centralna is the main train station in Warsaw. It sees many long-distance as well as regional trains. It was built in mid-1970s and renovated a few times since. It's standing up pretty well to modern standards and remains an attractive station with many amenities. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.